Hi everybody, my name's Taylor. Welcome to my channel. If you have been here before, then welcome back. And if you're new, then welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a bit of a different video. Usually I do lots of singing videos, but today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. Not many of you would know this, but over the last year I've really gotten into sewing. So I thought I would take you guys on the journey of making one of my costumes. For the last couple of months I have been the resident costume maker for a children's birthday party company, which is predominantly princess parties, and it's just been the best. I love making Disney princess dresses. It's my favorite thing. It's pretty much all I do. So I thought I would bring you guys along on the journey of making one of these costumes. When I started working at this company, we really made it a goal to make the costumes Disney theme park quality, because living in Australia we don't have a Disneyland or a Disney World nearby, so we really wanted to bring that experience to our city. It's very expensive to travel, especially for a whole family, so just even bringing a little bit of that was the goal. I am going to actually talk you through what I'm doing. It's probably going to be like a 20-minute video because there's a lot to do, so I might just put in the description little timestamps of each costume section in case you just wanted to look at the corset or just wanted to see the skirt. So without further ado, let's get started.
Okay, so for this dress, I did use a pattern. I used the Simplicity 1215. I just got this pattern at Spotlight. I'm from Australia, so you can get that at Spotlight or just on the Simplicity website. I think for this dress I used a size 14 for Hailey, but I ended up having to take in the corset because it was just a little bit too big for her. So first I started out by cutting out all of the skirt pieces. So here I'm cutting out the front side sections. There are 5 sections to this skirt, so there's 2 back sections, 2 front side sections, and then a front center section. This is just a little insert that I just cut out. That was for the insert for the slit in the skirt. These are the back pieces, so 2 pieces of that. And this fabric was so irritating to cut because it's a really rolly fabric. The edges roll, so that was so annoying. So bear with me there. And this is the waistband. Oh no, that wasn't the waistband. That was the front center section. Here is the waistband. Okay, so then I went and I sewed all the skirt pieces together. So straight from the top all the way down, except for one of the front middle sections, you sew only down to about part way up the thigh, so that you can actually put that little slit into the skirt. Elsa's sexy little slit. I'm really feeling uncomfortable with the word slit, but I don't know how else to say it. Okay, so here's me just putting it over myself just to see how it goes. It was a little bit loose for Hailey because I'm a little bit bigger than Hailey, so I ended up taking that in just a little bit. So next I cut some pieces of interfacing. So this is the part that's going to be lining the slit, and what you had to do is cut out a piece of interfacing the same size as that pattern piece, attach that, and with me what I like to do is I like to go all the way around the fabric just to make sure that the interfacing is going to stay where it needs to stay. And then I went and I overlocked the edges so it was a nice clean line and it didn't roll and it didn't fray. And so then I went and I attached that to the skirt. So I attached that right side to right side so that I could flip it inside out, and then that whole little section could be on the inside of the skirt. I hope I'm making sense here. I'm not really a professional, so I'm probably not going to use the right terms. Anyway, so then I cut some interfacing for the waistband and attached that onto the waistband piece. Again, I went all the way around because the interfacing likes to come off for some reason. And then I went and I pinned the waistband to the top of the skirt. I sewed all the way along there. And then I overlocked that to make it nice and pretty. There we go. Wow, ta-da! Here's one I prepared earlier. And then I ironed down about 1/4 of an inch of the top of the waistband. So then I could roll that over on the inside, pin through the front so that it was nice and tidy on both sides. And I'll just speed it up for the rest of that because it's very tedious. A lot of this is very tedious. This is sped up, I think, 20 times. So it took a bit of time. Ta-da! And then I went along and I sewed through, so that should have caught on the underside a little bit of that lip so that it was nice and pretty on both sides, as I said before. All right, time to attach the zip. I don't really measure the length of the zip that I'm using. I do this very lazily. So I use my zipper foot. I attached that to the skirt and I went all the way down to the part at the back of the skirt. Ta-da! And then this is where it's dodgy. I just cut off the end bit. And then what I do is I fold the zipper over and then fold the lip of the skirt onto the inside. And then I just went and I overlocked it to make it nice and clean. And then I did a top stitch. Here we go. Here's Haley wearing it. So this was when it was a little bit bigger. I did end up going in and taking that in a little bit. And then as you can see, like the little slit areas are kind of sticking out. So I just went and I put them in place. Here we go. This is me just overlocking all of the seams on the inside because I didn't do that before I put the waistband on. I think I just wanted to make sure that it was, oh, my phone is vibrating. I think I just wanted to make sure that it was the right size before I went and overlocked all of that. And then I hemmed the bottom of the skirt, as you can see. I just did a rolled hem. So I overlocked the bottom, just did a rolled hem all the way around. I'm not super precise with this, but there we go. So now it's a little bit tighter. That is how we wanted it to sit. And it looks like a pretty good length on Haley. So we were happy with that. That's her doing her sassy Elsa walk. Okay, moving on to the bodice. So I've made a lot of bodices. I like doing boned ones so that there's that extra little bit of support, because for me and Haley, I do most of the costumes for us. Because we are quite busty, we need that extra support, and you don't want to be wearing a bra underneath because you can see the straps. So I like to bone them. Here we go. So let me rephrase that. I cut out all of the bodice pieces. You have to be really precise with this and measure against the selvage, because it's really important so that the corset doesn't stretch. Here we go. So I did the lining. I did 2 pieces of the lining, and then I used a sequin fabric for the outside. And here's my little kitty. Are you comfortable? Of course he has to lay on the costumes and make them all furry, but that's okay. That's what lint rollers are for. Anyway, so I cut out the interfacing for each section of the bodice. So now I had a piece of interfacing, a piece of sequin fabric, a piece of lining, and a piece of base fabric. So there were 4 of each piece in total. And here's little Mossy. Oh, look how cute he is stretching. He's so cute. Oh, I'm such a cat lady. All right, so I attached the interfacing to each piece of the base fabric, which was just a light blue. I didn't want to obviously iron interfacing onto the sequin fabric because it just would have melted it, I assume. So I just went and I pinned each piece of sequin fabric to the base fabric that already had the interfacing on it, and I just sewed all of those pieces together so that I had 1 of each piece. This was very tedious as well. And then I went and I clipped all the edges. And oh my goodness, there were sequins everywhere. Like, I still have sequins in my sewing room, and this is maybe like 3 weeks later. Okay, so I went and I pinned all of the sections together. Again, you have to be really precise with this. and you will have to kind of maneuver the pieces because they will kind of pop out, and that is so that it can sit flush against your body. So I sewed all these pieces together. I actually sewed 2 lines of thread. 2 lines of thread, wow. The technical term. I sewed down each section twice just to give it that extra bit of, what's the word? Just to make it extra secure, you know? And then I went and I overlocked all of those to make it nice and neat on the inside. And then I got the lining and I just did the exact same thing. So cut out all the pieces, sew them all together, trim all the seams. Ta-da! So here is my boning. So next I made all the boning channels for the bodice, just with some scrap fabric. So I like to use 2 different types of boning for my corsets. I like to use the flat steel boning for pretty much almost all of the sections. The only 2 that I don't use the flat steel boning for is the 2 sections that go over the bust. I like to use the spiral steel boning just because it is a little bit more flexible and you can kind of move a little bit better in it. A lot of people recommend using spiral steel boning for a lot of the corsets, but because we're not dancing or anything, it's okay for us to not have as much motion. Wow, my words are not coming to me today. Here we go. So I sewed all the channels down to the lining. I popped the boning in there, and now I'm just cutting it to size. I have to use these huge garden plier things because it's metal. And so you can't hear it here, but I have to use a lot of force and it's very noisy. Sorry everybody in the house. And then I like to, it looks a little bit dodgy, but you're never gonna see this. I just like to go in with some tape and put that around the edges just so there's no sharp edges and it doesn't poke through the costume. Okay, so that's the lining all done. So then I just pinned the lining to the main part of the bodice. And I sewed all the way around, being really careful to make sure that all the lines are nice and straight where they have to be straight, round where they have to be round, that they're very even, because that's what you're gonna see on the outside. Okay, I went and I did a top stitch after turning that inside out, just so that you wouldn't see any of the lining, so it would naturally kind of keep the sequins on the top, so you don't see that lining coming up, peeping up over the top. I put all the boning in, and then I sealed each of the boning channels so that it didn't pop out, because that's the last thing that you want when you've fully sealed off your corset and then the boning channel comes out on the inside, but you can't get to it without pulling the whole costume apart. Okay, so I turned it inside out, and then I'm just pinning the bottom section together, and you sew along the bottom. There's really no way to top stitch both sides, so I just top stitch the top part because it's obviously just, that's what you're gonna see more. And then I went and I I trimmed/clipped all of the seams and turned it inside out, and it looks a bit like a bat, I like to think. Wow, I'm doing this really late. Sorry everyone, I'm a bit tired. There we go, ta-da! And then I just pinned it onto the mannequin to see how it all looked. Okay, so I was really bad here. I went ahead and I did the lacing for the back because it was the night before a party where I really wanted Elsa to be at the party the next day. So I didn't end up filming it, but I'll just show you what I did here. So to do the eyelets for the back of the corset, you just make a little hole pop through the main part of the eyelet and then pop over the washer and nail that down. Ta-da! Okay, then I went and I cut out the shirt that goes underneath the bodice. So first I cut out the arm pieces, so obviously 2 of each, and then I went and I cut out the 2 bodice pieces. They were exactly the same. I chose a really stretchy fabric and decided to go a bit of a size down, just so that it didn't look all loose around the sleeves, because that's my pet peeve when you see a costume, is seeing the loose sleeves. And then I went and cut out a little section to connect to the neckline. And so here we go, I went and I attached that to the neckline, and then I just went around and I did a little rolled hem and trimmed the seams. Then I attached the arm pieces to the bodice. I cut those around the shoulder area. Whoa, I didn't cut. I attached these at the shoulder area, and then I went and I sewed all the way down the bodice part, up into the armpit, and then down each arm. And I did that on both sides. And that was it. I really just clipped again. I really just clipped the seams on the shirt. So yeah, okay, moving on to the cape. I used a glittery fabric. There's only 2 sections for the cape, so I just cut those out, sewed all the way down, and then I just did a rolled hem all the way around. The result! La-di-da-da, beautiful Elsa, let it go, can't hold it back anymore. Look how cute she is, my little sister. But I just ended up tucking the cape into the bodice just to make it easier to take on and off. Ta-da!
And that is it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I know, like I said, it's very different to what I usually do. If you did enjoy this, let me know, because I'm pretty much sewing every day anyway, making new costumes. So if you would like to see how any other costumes are made, I can definitely record that as well. It's just a matter of bringing my camera out and just filming what I'm doing anyway. The next costume I'm going to be doing is Anna's normal dress. I've made her coronation dress already, but I just need the normal costume for her, and then after that I'll be making Rapunzel. I've already made Snow White, Anna's coronation dress, Belle's villager dress, Belle's something there, the winter dress, the pink one. I've made an Alice dress. I've made now Belle's ball gown. I've got some cool ideas for some other videos that I could do kind of in the vein of sewing. If you guys enjoyed this video, I was thinking I could show you all the dresses I've made so far and kind of walk you through what I've done for each of those. I could do a wig styling tutorial. I could do a sewing room tour. So if you did like it, please let me know in the comments down below. If you have any questions, let me know. I am by no means a professional, but I really enjoy watching these types of videos. It's actually the way that I learned how to sew. I've never been to a sewing class before. I've just watched YouTube videos. So if you would like more of these videos, let me know. And if you like this video, like it, and make sure to subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks guys, bye!